Hello everybody, welcome to this next video on Introduction to Probability course. So in this video we are going to introduce a very important concept which is called conditional probability. So you will see later on that this is quite a useful concept, right? So let me try to tell you what it is exactly. So here you see you have a die. Suppose this is a fair die. So I can ask you a question like, what is your experiment is you roll this die. So experiment is rolling a fair die. Okay, so I'm asking you a question, what is the probability of getting a 6? So you already know, we have already studied the answer to this question, right? So we will do, because all the outcomes are equally likely. So this is a probability of getting 6 is 1 by 6. Right, now I ask you another question. What is the probability of getting a 6? Probability of getting a 6 given that the outcome is an even number. Outcome is an even number. Now you see your question is a big one and you have an additional information that already you have this information that outcome is an even number, right? And then, so this is the extra information given to you, extra information, right? Then you are asked a question. Is that okay? So how this is normal probability which we have studied. Answering this question where we were just computing the probabilities of different events, and answering this question where some extra information about the outcomes is given. So finding out the probabilities when some information about the outcome is already given, that is called conditional probability. Okay, so here I have written the definition that what is conditional probability? Studying about the outcomes of an experiment when some partial information is already given. Okay, so for example, in this particular case, this is your extra or partial information given to you, right? So partial information is that the outcome is an even number, already you know. Then I am asking you what is the possibility of getting a 6. Fine. So this is one example which I have given you about the conditional probability. So there may be different cases where you may be asked to compute the conditional probabilities. For example, here you see in an experiment involving two successive rolls of a die, you are told that sum of the rolls is 9. So I am asking you, how likely is it that the first roll was 6? So you are already told that. So here you see you are involving your experiment involves two successive rolls of die. So if you make a sample space, so you have 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4 1 5 1 6, then you have 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4 2 5 2 6, then you have 3 1 3 2 3 3 3 4 3 5 3 6, and so on. You can keep on writing 4 1 4 2 4 3 4 4 4 5 4 6 5 1 5 2 5 3 5 4 5 5 5 6 6 1 6 2 6 3 6 4 6 5 6 6. Okay, so now this was your original sample space, but you have this extra information that the sum of two rolls is 9. It means that you are already told that the sum should be 9. So for example, this is a valid outcome given the partial information. 3 6 6 3 is also a valid outcome because you want your sum to be 9. Okay, then 5 4 and 4 5, these are the valid outcomes, right? So what else can give you sum as 9? Okay, so you can have sum 9 as 6 plus 3 3 plus 6, or you can have 5 plus 4 or 4 plus 5, and you cannot have other than this any other combination, right? Yeah. So you cannot have with 2. Fine. Okay, so you are already told that these are the outcomes. Then what is the probability that first roll was 6? Okay, so this you see, if you just compute what is the probability of getting 6 in the first roll, so it is simply, because you want 6 in the first roll, so this is 1 2 3 4 5 6, so it is 6 by 36. Okay, but now given the information that sum of two rolls is 9, so you have only these 4 outcomes, so your probability will change to, and out of these 4 outcomes there is only one outcome with first roll as a 6, so your answer is 1 by 4. So you see, given the extra information, your probability has been changed. So this is a case where you have to compute the conditional probability. So here I am just trying to give you examples. Later on I will tell you how we will compute them, right? Okay, so let us look at another another example. So in a word guessing game, the first letter of the word is T. What is the likelihood that the second letter is an H? So you see, this is the extra information given to you already. So this is the extra information given to you. Okay, so this comes under conditional probability. So then you have, how likely is it that a person has a disease given that the medical test was negative? So this part, given that the medical test was negative, so this is your extra information which you have, which is given to you, and you are asked to compute this probability that the person has a disease. Okay, then here a spot shows up on a radar. So radar is detecting something. Okay, so this is the extra information given to you, and you are asked that what is the probability that there is an aircraft. So all these cases are the examples where you have to compute conditional probabilities, right? So if we look in terms of sample space, so what we are saying here is that you are given an experiment. So this is your experiment, random experiment. Okay, so suppose this is your sample space omega. So this is your sample space omega. So extra information will be that outcome belongs to a set B, or an event B, we can say. So it means that if this is your omega, this whole yellow shaded region is your sample space. So extra information is that already your outcome has to be somewhere in between. So this is your set B. So this is your extra information that your outcome lies here. Okay, for example, here if we look at this case, that your experiment is rolling a die. So your sample space is 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then when I tell you that the outcome is an even number, so this is my B. Okay, so this was my sample space and this is my B. Is that okay? So this is how we can relate it to a sample space, like we can just make the Venn diagrams. So conditional probability means you are restricting your outcomes to a subset of sample space instead of whole of the sample space. Is that okay? So we can say that this extra information is our set B, and we are restricting our outcomes to the subset B of the sample space omega, Fine. Okay, so and after that we talk about, having restricted this, so we talk about given B, we can talk about probability of an event A. So we denote it like this: probability of an event A given B. So this is the notation for conditional probability, right? So it should be understood that this B is your extra information, This is your extra information. Okay, so this is the notation for conditional probability. So we are talking about what is the probability of an event A given that the outcome is already in the event B. So this is the extra information provided to you. Okay, now if you suppose, so we can intuitively give what this probability should be, right? So you are given that your outcome is already in B, right? So this is your B, and suppose this is my set A. So what is the probability? It is given that B already occurred. So that is equal to the probability of this event, which is A intersection B, divided by, because I am restricted to only B, divided by probability of B. So by intuition, looking at the Venn diagram, we define it as probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. Of course, here we need probability of B should be greater than 0. Okay, so if probability of B is 0, then obviously conditional probability is undefined. If B is not occurring, okay, then you cannot compute what is the probability of A given B has already occurred. So because probability of B is 0. Okay, fine. So this is how we define probability of A intersection B as probability of A given B as probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B, provided probability of B is greater than 0. So this is our conditional probability, right? So this is I just gave you this by intuition. I asked you to look at this Venn diagram where this is my omega, this is the set B, which is my extra information. I am given that outcome is here only, right? So it means that I can forget about this part because I am already given that outcome is here only. And then I want to know what is the probability of the event A, right? So what I will look for the intersection of A and B, which is here, right? Because outside that I am sure that it is not happening because I am already given this information that the outcome is in B. So this is the part, this is a fraction of happening for A given that outcome is in B. So that portion has the probability as fraction. So what is the probability of this part divided by what is the probability of this part? Okay, so that is why I have defined it like this. And when your outcomes are, if all outcomes are equally likely, for example, in case of rolling a fair die, in that case you can write it as probability of A given B, or conditional probability of A given B is equal to number of elements in A intersection B, because this probability will be number of elements in A intersection B divided by number of elements in omega, and this probability will be number of elements in B divided by number of elements in omega. So this and this will cancel. So your probability becomes number of elements in A intersection B divided by number of elements in B. So when your all the outcomes are equally likely, in that case you can also use this definition of probability. Fine. Conditional probability. Okay, so we can now you should understand that this P A given B, this can be thought of as a new probability law, because you have defined everything with respect to the set B. New probability law, okay, on the set B, on the sample space B. Okay, so we can see all the properties are satisfied. So first property, positivity, probability of A given B is probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. This is for sure positive because these probabilities are positive. Then if I have A1 union A2 given B, if where A1 and A2 are disjoint. So how you can write it? So this is something like this. This is your B, A1 is here and A2 is here. So where A1 and A2 are disjoint. A1 and A2 are disjoint. So how we can write it as? We can write it as this is probability of A1 union A2 intersection B divided by probability of B. Right? Now you can just use here the properties of union and intersection. So this becomes probability of A1 intersection B union A2 intersection B divided by probability of B. Now because A1 and A2 are disjoint, so this set and this set, that is also disjoint. So this is your A1 intersection B and this is your A2 intersection B. So you can use the additivity law for P because P already is a probability law on the sample space omega. So this is probability of A1 intersection B plus probability of A2 intersection B divided by probability of B. So this is probability of A1 intersection B divided by probability of B plus probability of A2 intersection B divided by probability of B. Now what is this? This is equal to probability of A1 given B plus probability of A2 given B. Okay, so we prove that probability of A1 union A2 given B is equal to probability of A1 given B plus probability of A2 given B. Right, whenever A1 and A2 are disjoint. So we prove that probability of A1 union A2 given B is equal to probability of A1 given B plus probability of A2 given B whenever A1 and A2 are disjoint. Whenever A1 and A2 are disjoint. Okay, so this is the additivity property. So it means that additivity property is also satisfied. Now we compute what is the probability of, third is normalization, B given B. So that is probability of B intersection B divided by probability of B. So that is probability of B divided by probability of B, which is 1. So normalization is also there. So it means that we can think that this P A given B is a new probability law on the sample space B instead of omega. Omega was your original sample space. Okay, and also here if I compute what is the probability of omega, this was your sample space given B, that will be probability of omega intersection B divided by probability of B. So because this is whole of the, this is your universal set, so this is probability of B divided by probability of B. Okay, so this is equal to 1. So you can, this is also new probability law on the sample space B, okay, or on the original sample space omega, right? So I should not write here on the sample space, on the set, because sample space is what is the set of all possible outcomes. Okay, so you can think of that what we have defined for conditional probability, that is probability of A given B, this is forming a new probability law which satisfies all the properties which are expected from a probability law. Okay, so now I will look at one example in this video. In the next video we will practice more examples, because this is some topic which you have to understand well. Okay, because you see in real life situations also, whenever we go for a situation, we already have some extra information. So most of the times we deal with conditional probabilities, right? Okay, so let us look at this one example, that we toss a fair coin with three successive times. So you toss a fair coin 3 times. Okay, we wish to find the conditional probability. What is conditional probability A given B, where A is more heads than tails come up, more heads than tails come up, and what is the event B is first toss is a head. Okay, so I want to know what is the probability of A given B. So this is equal to probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. Now let us see what is probability of A intersection B. Now here, what is your sample space? Sample space consists of 8 terms, right? 8 outcomes, because you are tossing the coin 3 times. So your sample space is head, head, head. Then you have head, head, tail, head, tail, head, tail, head, head. Then you have 2 tails. So you have head, tail, 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 head, tail, or you have tail, tail, head, or you have 3 tails. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 outcomes, right? And out of these, B is given. So B is your first toss is a head. So that is head, head, head. This will come to B. This one will also come to B. This will also come in B. This will not. This will H, T. This will not. This will not. And this will not. So what is the probability of B? So probability of B is 4 divided by 8, because it contains 1, 2, 3 and 4 outcomes. Then A intersection B. A is more heads than tails. So just write A first. A is more heads than tail. So you see more heads than tail. Yes. H, H, H comes. This also comes. Head, head, tail. 2 heads and 1 tail. This also comes. Head, tail, head. This also comes. Tail, head, head. This does not come. This does not come. This does not come. And this does not come. So probability of A is also, we don't need probability of A, right? Okay. Now look at A intersection B. That will be, this is common, okay, this is common, this is common, right? This is not common. So probability of A intersection B is head, 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 tail, head, tail, head. So what is the probability of A intersection B? That will be 3 by 8. Okay, so probability of A intersection B is 3 by 8. So what is the probability of A given B? That will be probability of A intersection B divided by probability of B. That is 3 by 8 divided by 4 by 8. So this is 3 by 4. So this is our answer. Okay. So if you look at this, so we are saying that out of this sample space, your outcome has to be here. And then you compute the probability of this particular event. So this is your answer, right? So in this case, because everything is equally likely, because when you toss a coin and it is a fair coin, so everything is equally likely. So you can directly compute probability of A intersection B as number of elements in A intersection B divided by number of elements in B. So number of elements in A intersection B is 3 divided by number of elements in B is 4. So that is also there. You can, either way you can use. So this is the definition which is valid every time. This is the definition which is valid when your events are, when your outcomes are equally likely. Okay. So keep practicing the conditional probability thing. It is important. So you have to read from your book what exactly is the conditional probability, and you come to me with this doubts. You can just write your doubts in the comment section. I would be happy to help. And in the next video, we will practice some questions on conditional probability. Thank you for watching this video. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel. Okay, happy learning.